Redmi Note 11 Pro versus Redmi Note 10 Pro. The Redmi Note 11 Pro is the better device if you prefer a device that runs hot and a device that lags. To me, the Redmi Note 10 Pro is the better device, and in this video, I'm going to show you why. For the build quality, the Redmi Note 11 Pro front is protected with Corning Gorilla Glass 5. The frame is made from plastic and the rear is made from glass with no protection, while the older Redmi Note 10 Pro has Corning Gorilla Glass 5 protection at the front and back, and the frame is also made from plastic. Now guys, we all know that glass is glass and glass will break. If you drop any of these smartphones from a reasonable height, the Corning Gorilla Glass protection won't prevent the glass from cracking. But it's interesting that the older device, the Redmi Note 10 Pro, has Corning Gorilla Glass protection at the rear, while the newer device, the Redmi Note 11 Pro, doesn't have protection at the rear. For the weight, the Redmi Note 10 Pro is the lighter smartphone, but not by much, and holding both smartphones, the Redmi Note 10 Pro feels better in my hand because of the curves. As for resistance to the elements, both smartphones are IP53 dust and splash resistant smartphones. Now for the build quality, the Redmi Note 10 Pro wins because the rear is protected with Corning Gorilla Glass 5. It's also the lighter smartphone and it's easier to hold. Now moving to the external features, both smartphones are practically the same. The only difference is the Redmi Note 11 Pro has a hybrid SIM/memory card tray that takes 2 SIM cards or 1 SIM card and a memory card, while the Redmi Note 10 Pro can take 2 SIM cards and a memory card all at once. For the sound quality, the audio coming out from both smartphones sound identical, and for the fingerprint scanner, they unlock at the same time. Now, is the display of the Redmi Note 11 Pro better than the Redmi Note 10 Pro? No, but there's a difference. Both smartphones have a 6.67-inch 1080p AMOLED display with a resolution of 1080 by 2400 pixels. The refresh rate on both smartphones is the same, 120Hz. What's different is the touch sampling rate. The Redmi Note 11 Pro touch sampling rate is 360Hz, while the touch sampling rate on the Redmi Note 10 Pro is 240Hz, and when you scroll, you can notice the difference. The Redmi Note 11 Pro is more fluid. Now for those that don't know what touch sampling rate is, well, it's the number of times the screen can register when you touch it. For brightness, both smartphones have their peak brightness at 120 nits, and for viewing media, both smartphones support HDR content and are fantastic. For the display department, I'm tempted to say it's a tie, but the Redmi Note 11 Pro has a higher touch sampling rate, which I did notice, and because of that, it wins the display department. Alright, let's talk about the performance. The Redmi Note 10 Pro comes with a Snapdragon 732G processor. It's an 8nm processor, while the Redmi Note 11 Pro, the one I have here, comes with a MediaTek Helio G96 processor, a 12nm processor. Now let's start off with running a couple of benchmark applications, and starting with Antutu, the Redmi Note 11 Pro has the higher score, but the Redmi Note 10 Pro isn't far behind. Now moving to 3D Mark, which is used to compare the graphics performance of smartphones, the Redmi Note 10 Pro has the higher score, and when I checked the temperature, the Redmi Note 10 Pro was the cooler device. Now moving on to GFX Bench, the Redmi Note 10 Pro has the higher score, and also when I checked the temperature of both smartphones, the Redmi Note 10 Pro was cooler. For Geekbench, the Redmi Note 11 Pro has higher single and multi-core numbers, but not by much. And moving on to Performance Test Mobile, the Redmi Note 10 Pro has the higher numbers. Now benchmark scores don't tell the full story when it comes to performance, and I had Geekbench banned a big brand for cheating, so I wouldn't really rely on those numbers if I was you. For gaming, the GPU is important. The Redmi Note 11 Pro comes with the Mali G57 GPU, while the Redmi Note 10 Pro comes with the Adreno 618 GPU. And when I played PUBG on both smartphones, the Redmi Note 10 Pro played the game better. For the graphics settings, the Redmi Note 10 Pro ran PUBG on HD graphics and high frame rate. When I was testing out this device, I kept the settings at balanced graphics and ultra frame rate, and using the inbuilt FPS counter, I got a steady 30 FPS. Now moving to the Redmi Note 11 Pro, it too can play PUBG on HD graphics and high frame rate. I switched it to balanced graphics and ultra frame rate. With the onboard screen recorder on and brightness at the maximum, the frame rate was just all over the place. If you stop the screen recording and reduce the brightness of the screen, the gameplay becomes smooth, but I'm guessing the performance is throttling because of the high temperature. From the screen, you can see that the temperature is at 48 degrees, while the Redmi Note 10 temperature was at 42 degrees. Now, even though the Redmi Note 11 Pro has a cooling system inside it, it still runs hot. For Call of Duty, the Redmi Note 10 Pro ran the game at high graphics and maximum frame rate. The gameplay was smooth as butter, and I had no issues putting brightness at max and also recording the gameplay. Now moving to the Redmi Note 11 Pro, the best setting at the moment is medium graphics and high frame rate, and the gameplay was smooth. For Genshin Impact, the Redmi Note 10 Pro with brightness at the max and screen recording on, setting the graphics settings to the lowest, the Redmi Note 10 Pro ran the game well. The frame rate hovered around 26 FPS to 29 FPS. FPS. Now, using the same low settings, maximum brightness, and recorded the gameplay using the onboard screen recorder, the Redmi Note 11 Pro could not handle it. But when I turned off the screen recorder, reduced the brightness, the gameplay was fine. So for heavy gaming, the Redmi Note 10 Pro is the device to go for. The Redmi Note 11 Pro gets hot and it throttles. Now, moving on to the operating system, the Redmi Note 10 Pro has gotten the Android 12 update, while the Redmi Note 11 Pro is still running Android 11 at the time of making this video. I know, things are strange. Both smartphones have bloatware that you can uninstall. Both smartphones show ad when you open some system applications like Mi Video, but it really isn't a big deal. Memory expansion is available on both smartphones and multitasking is decent on both smartphones. For the performance department, both smartphones are good, but when you push them to their limit, when you play a game and screen record and turn up the brightness, the Redmi Note 10 Pro did way better. Now let's move on to the camera department. Both smartphones have a 16 megapixel selfie camera, and in the dark, I think the Redmi Note 10 Pro pictures look better. Now moving on to an area where there's more light, I prefer the picture captured on the Redmi Note 10 Pro. If you look at the ceiling, the Redmi Note 11 Pro just made the dots disappear, and I also don't like the magenta color that I'm getting from the Redmi Note 11 Pro. Now moving outdoors, both smartphones can take good pictures, both look sharp, but as you can see, the Redmi Note 10 Pro has this green tint to it, while the Redmi Note 11 Pro has this magenta tint to it. For me, I prefer the cooler colors of the Redmi Note 10 Pro. Now, when I reviewed the Redmi Note 11 Pro, I thought the magenta tint looked good, but putting it next to the Redmi Note 10 Pro, I prefer the colors of the Redmi Note 10 Pro. Of course, you can always change the temperature of the color and they will look alike. What's up, guys? It's a hot sunny day in Lagos, Nigeria, and I'm using the Redmi Note 11 Pro and the Redmi Note 10 Pro to make this video. So what do you guys think? Both smartphones are shooting in 1080p, 30 frames per second, and that's the highest resolution. So which smartphone do you prefer? Which one is handling dynamic range better? Which one has the pleasant color, or colors rather? Both smartphones don't have video stabilization while using the front-facing camera. So which one do you prefer? I mean, audio quality is important, video quality is important, and yes, for dynamic range, I can see the wire, I can see the wire on the Redmi Note 10 Pro, but that wire is not existing on the Redmi Note 11 Pro. So it looks like the Redmi Note 10 Pro is handling dynamic range better. It looks like. Anyways, what do you guys think? Which one do you prefer? Let me know in the comment section below. Brownie, come say hello to YouTube. Brownie is hunting lizard. That's over there. Brown, say hello to YouTube. Like, guys should stop disturbing me. I'm trying to hunt lizard. So yeah, this is a video test, front-facing video camera test of the Redmi Note 11 Pro and the Redmi Note 10 Pro. Now moving to the red camera, I honestly can't tell them apart. They look identical. In dark areas, the Redmi Note 11 Pro shows more details, as you can see here. Blacks are deeper on the Redmi Note 10 Pro. Other than that, I can't pick the smartphone that takes a better picture using the red camera. Alright, so right now I'm using the red camera of both smartphones. The Redmi Note 10 Pro can shoot in 4K 30 frames per second, while the highest resolution on the Redmi Note 11 Pro is 1080p 30 frames per second. So which one is doing a better job? Is the 4K quality better than the 1080p quality? Brownie, what do you think? 4K better than 1080p? I mean, yeah, but on a smartphone, which one is better? You just want to hunt lizard, don't you? Alright, so we're going to leave you to hunt your lizard. So guys, which one is better? 4K on the Redmi Note 10 Pro or the 1080p on the Redmi Note 11 Pro? So yeah, what do you guys think? Okay, so both smartphones are now shooting in 1080p, 30 frames per second. Check out this Benz M-Class. Yeah. So what do you guys think about the video quality coming out from both smartphones? Again, both smartphones are shooting in 1080p, 30 frames per second. So yeah. So let me just start jogging and see which one has the better video stabilization. I think both of them are doing a very good job, honestly. Both doing a very good job. So yeah, which one do you guys prefer? Let me know in the comment section below. So yeah, this is a wide angle shot from both smartphones. The Redmi Note 11 Pro is stuttering from the viewfinder, but hey, it might not do that on the system, but I can say it stutter a bit. Now, after looking at the sample pictures and videos, I will definitely pick the Redmi Note 10 Pro, especially for video. Also, the Redmi Note 10 Pro has more camera features. It has a dual video mode that allows you to record from both the front and rear camera. It has clone mode, it has vlog mode. I know we don't really use all those features, but hey, it's available on the Redmi Note 10 Pro. So guys, for the camera department, I'll pick the Redmi Note 10 Pro. For the battery, the Redmi Note 10 Pro has a slightly bigger battery, and when I ran my battery drain test, I got around the same screen on time from both smartphones. Where the Redmi Note 11 Pro is better is in the battery charging time. Here's a breakdown of the charging time of both smartphones, and as you can see, the Redmi Note 11 Pro charging time is quick. So guys, what do I think? Well, for the build quality, the Redmi Note 10 Pro wins. For the external features, the Redmi Note 10 Pro wins. For the display department, the Redmi Note 11 Pro wins. Moving on to the performance department, the Redmi Note 10 Pro wins. For the camera, for me, the Redmi Note 10 Pro wins. And for the battery and charging time, well, the Redmi Note 11 Pro wins. Now, if you own the Redmi Note 10 Pro and you're thinking of switching to the Redmi Note 11 Pro, well, I wouldn't recommend you do that except you like smartphones that run hot and throttles a lot when you push them to the maximum. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. The winner of this comparison is the Redmi Note 10 Pro. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys very soon. Valo Reviews signing out.